Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. I was walking through a Walgreens the other day, and I was looking at the Hot Wheels cars. Hey, imagine that, right? And I saw some cars there, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if you could take just a mainline car off the shelf and customize it and make it into a cool-looking street rod? Well, that's what we're going to do today. I grabbed a car off the shelf, and I'm going to show you what I did in order to make this a cool custom street rod on a budget. How cool is that? Let's get started. Here we've picked up a 55 Chevy Nomad. Now this is a really cool car, but yeah, it comes with a plastic base and it comes with plastic wheels and stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to break this car down and we're going to give it new wheels, we're going to give it a paint job, and we're going to take it from crappy to classic. This is a really nice car. It's got some great lines to it, and it's modeled after an older car, obviously, but an older Hot Wheels I meant. And here we're going to go ahead and strip it down. So let's drill out the posts. Now I use the 1/16 inch drill bit, and I'm using the 1-72 screws and tabs. So I'm using the 1/16 inch drill bit, and we're going to drill past the mushroom on the end of the post. And we do that for a good reason. Now you're going to do both ends. And again, you're going to drill past the mushroom post. That's looking good. Yeah, we're about done here. Let's move on. Now we're going to use a 9/64 bit, and we're going to remove the mushroom end off the post. Take your time and go slow in this part here, because once you start drilling with the drill bit here, it's going to grab really quick because the center of the post is now hollow. Now what you're trying to do here is just remove the mushroom post. You don't want to drill too deep because it'll take away a lot of the meat that you're trying to save in order to screw the screw into the post when you're done. Now if you take your time and notice how I'm twisting it a little bit, you're looking to get that little ring off the end. That's the portion that holds the base onto the car. Now here I've already removed one. Take your time and go slow. You're going to feel it bite. Once you start to feel it bite, then you're going to want to wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Okay, this one here, the ring broke off, but there's only a portion of it left. So you may have to drill it just a little bit more or peel it off with a pair of pliers or something like that. But now we can go ahead and take it apart. Here I've got my screwdriver. Be careful not to bend the axle or the wheels if you're going to try to save them. If you're not going to save them, it's not a big deal. Okay, we got that end off. There we go. Look at that. And you don't want to drill too deep either, because especially if you got a plastic base, if you drill too deep, you're going to make the hole too big in the base, and even if you put a screw in there, you may have to use a washer in order to keep your base onto the car. So that's why you have to drill slow when you're removing the mushroom post. We're going to have to file these posts down and drill them out and tap them out for some screws. You already know how I feel about plastic bases, but we'll do the best we can with this. I mean, again, this is just taking a mainline off the rack and trying to turn it into a custom. Windshield's in great shape, no big deal there, it's brand new. We're not going to do anything to the interior, but that looks pretty sharp. Let's move on. Now we're going to drill out the post. I'm using the same 1/16 inch drill bit again, and you're going to want to drill deep enough in order to accept the screw that you're using, being it a short screw or a long screw. Now the short screws are 1/8 inch long, the long screws are 3/16 inch long. And these are the 1/72 screws. Here we just sped this up here a little bit just because this is kind of boring stuff, but I still want you to see what's going on. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and tap these posts. I'm using the 1-72 tap, and I'm using the tap handle that I got from Bright Vision. You can get these tap handles at brightvisionwheels.com. Now the best part about these is they fit right over the end of the tap, and they're extremely light, so you don't have to worry about them falling out or whatever. But they're a lot easier to handle. Very, very great, nice tool, and I use them exclusively. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to future videos. Make sure you put a little drop of oil on the end of the tap. It'll help with it glide through as you're cutting into the metal. Because I'll tell you, and I've done it before, you can break these taps off in the hole. Now fortunately when I did it, I was able to get it out. But you're taking a chance there. So just put a little drop of oil on the end of the post, or the tap. And please, I use WD-40 sometimes, but that's not really oil. It's like penetrating fluid and stuff like that. So use oil. Put the screw in, test it. Make sure that they work and they go in right. Now sometimes, and the reason I like using the 1/72 is because if the hole was drilled a little bit funky or it's a little bit off center or whatever, you may have to use the larger 256 screw. Now you can always go up, but it's awful hard to go back down, and I know you don't want to use like super glue and stuff like that when you're trying to screw your screws back in. Now we're going to dip it in the citrus strip. This citrus strip I think has seen better days. I think after this I'm going to have to go ahead and cycle it out and put some new stuff in the bowl. Make sure you do the inside and the outside because we're going to do a color change here. That ought to do it. Now we're just going to let that set for a few hours. Now, citrus strip, a lot of people say, oh, this is crap or whatever like that. Well, it's not the best, but you know what? It works. It's reasonably priced, and unless you're in a hurry, this stuff works fantastic. Now they got the aircraft stripper, and they had to take it off the market for a while and change the chemical composition of it because the chemicals in there were harmful to folks. Well, I don't know how they found that out unless they were like drinking it or something like that. So don't drink the paint thinner or paint stripper. Here we're going to do the wheel swap. I'm going to use these little snips and we're going to cut the one tab off here. Snap it right off. Easier said than done, right? There we go. Do the same thing to the other side. Alright. You may have to file out the channel to get these wheels to work, but I got these wheels off of 164treads.com. They snap right in place. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. Now let's put the front wheels on. Let's see how that works. Sorry for the camera angle there. Oop. Push it in a little slot. Use your thumbnail, or you may have to use a screwdriver or something, but like I said, sometimes easier said than done. There we go. We'll use this to push it in. That's looking pretty good. Nice stance to it. Rolls good. Alright. Perfect wheel swap. Didn't even have to cut any of the axles. Let's move on. We've painted the base with a white primer. Just to get it ready for anything else, I used some Tamiya primer. I want to leave the roof white. Now we're going to paint the base, or the bottom of the car, a iridescent orange from Createx. As you mix this paint down, you're going to use the high performance reducer. It calls for a 10% mixture. Now, because of how fine the needles are on your airbrush, you may have to thin it down a little bit more. Just do yourself a favor, don't put this down too heavy because it comes out very wet. It's a water-based paint and it comes out extremely wet. So put down a dusting or a light coat, and you can keep building up the coats just to get the color you want. But don't spray it too hard because it will run on you. I promise it will. Just take your time with it. Now, if you have to, in between time, if it's wet, don't get too close, but use the air from your airbrush to dry it, and then just keep putting coats down. I got a few more coats here, and this should be ready. The color's looking really, really nice. It's got a slight sparkle to it, but that's going to look really nice once we get the clear coat on. Yeah, that's looking real sweet. Sometimes just a simple paint job will make a custom pop, and I think this is going to be really nice. There, took the tape off. Look at that. Now, I detailed it also. Did the headlights, the turn signals, and the tail lights. That looks really nice. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's sweet. I like that. That looks really cool. There it is. Now, I said iridescent. Sparklescent mango. There you go. Just shake it really good. Mix it with the high performance reducer. And I'm really enjoying the Createx paints. Now we're going to do some clear coat. Put a couple of mist coats on there. Go around the whole thing. Oh, little speck of dust. Try and get that off if you can. Fortunately, it was just in the part where we just started spraying the clear. Cover the whole car with a nice light coat. And just keep moving as you spray the clear on. Keep moving and keep spraying the clear. Now, you'll know if you're starting to get too heavy because you'll start to see the clear run. You don't want to get to that point, folks. That's looking nice. I'm really happy with that. Okay. We've got a nice coat of clear on there. Look how that shines. That is really, really sweet. That's nice. Now we're going to put it in the dust cabinet to keep it from getting any woolly boogers on it. We got all of our pieces ready to go. We got the base with the wheel change. That looks really good. The wheel swap. That's excellent. We got the interior. That's looking good. No problem there. Windshield's all nice and clean. And we got the beautiful paint job. That's looking great. Let's put it together and do our reveal. And this is what we started with. A 55 Chevy Nomad that I pulled right out of the Mainline rack at Walgreens. And I said, you know, let's show folks how to do a really nice custom on a budget. And this is what we got to. We took a Mainline right off the shelf. We took it apart. We did a wheel swap. We put a beautiful paint job on there. We detailed the car out. And we put it all back together. What a beautiful, beautiful paint job. The front axles were a little bit sloppy. We went back in and we trimmed up the axle to make it a little bit tighter so it wouldn't move around so much. And that operates fantastic now too. I was real happy to do this one. You know, you do red lines all the time, and sometimes you just want to get back to the basics, and this car was just that. It's a beautiful paint job. It could have done any color. It could have done red, could have done blue, but that mango orange sparklescent was just fantastic. Really happy with the way this turned out, and I hope you all like the video too. Like I said, folks, you can do this. This is what these videos are for, to help encourage you to do the cars yourself. I'd like to thank Chris Smith, Jim Silva with his YouTube channel, Stacy Wright, Daryl Begtel in Michio Woods Garage on Facebook. He sells some great cars. Please check him out. Aaron Murphy, my brother out there in California. William Robinson, Mr. K7. Be safe on the road driving that truck, brother. Keeping America supplied. We owe a lot to you. And Mr. Jake Rademacher. Sir, thank you so much, and thank you for your donations and subscribing to the Patreon. Thank you so much for joining me here on Diecast Graveyard today. I hope that you all stay healthy and we get through this virus thing that's going on. I'll just keep knocking out videos to keep you folks entertained. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Paul. You have a great day.